Good morning, my people. Ooh. Start right with a fresh cough into the mic. Ooh, loading. What's up, guys? Good morning. Hi. It's your boy. I'm back. Welcome to Murk TV. We're going to talk about the news today. How's everybody doing? Ooh, should I get the slide on? There we go. You guys see my beautiful mug a little better. Oh. Everybody have a good weekend. It's been kind of a slow weekend for your mans. I've been working a lot and streaming a lot, so you guys have seen me nonstop. You know how my weekend's been going. I've been missing Lux. That's how it's going. It's Monday and I want Lux to get home. This cat's been going crazy without her here. The cat somehow this morning figured out how to turn on the PlayStation and the television in the bedroom, which is impressive for a creature with no thumbs. But this cat has been throwing a fit 6 a.m. on, trying to get fed. We're there. It's better. It's better. Alright, I was gonna try something out while we're at the top of the first hour. I was gonna try moving this camera. What if it was up here? Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. What if it was right here? Right? It's Lux trying to mess with me with using the cat. Absolutely. Absolutely, that's how it feels. Cat. There she is right there. See? She's never far off with Lux gone. There's just always yep, there she is. Feed the cat. So I've been feeding the cat a little bit early. I probably shouldn't, but I have been. All right. Let's hop into the news. Let's get into this. Let's do this thing. Be sure to check out the links in the descriptions, guys. Pillar.io/MURKradio. That's our sponsorships. That's our endorsement deal. That's our everything. If you guys want a deal on BarkBox or Death Wish coffee, anything, we got you. We got your bag. You can get it there. Link in description. We also have the Discord invite if you want to stay up to date. Maybe see the behind the scenes of things like my fitness journey and what it's like to work in entertainment. The cool thing about Discord is it's private, so I'll share some stuff that maybe you don't get on social media on the Discord. Lux and I both work in entertainment, and so we do a lot of pretty high profile stuff. If you want some behind the scenes deets, hop in that Discord, man. Hop in that Discord. Alright, let's load this up. Okay, first up this morning, got a few stories pulled and then we're going to kind of just wing it for the rest of the day. But let's see, we've got, first of all, let me close that, shrink that back down a little bit. There we go. We got Yosemite. Yosemite's on fire, and apparently it's heading toward the sequoias. That's horrible.
Right now, there is a race to save some of the country's most iconic trees as flames are ripping through California's Yosemite National Park. Really one of the most beautiful national parks in the States. If you haven't been, it is unbelievable. But right now, being threatened by a wildfire, as is the park's famous redwood sequoia trees. Some of those trees, thousands of years old. They bring in tourists from around the country every single year. This fire has scorched more than 2,000 acres since last week. Now, right now, a sprinkler system is protecting the park's second largest tree.
We're watering that tree in case the fire comes to it, and when the fire does come, fire behavior is just going to drop down and the tree's going to be okay.
Wow.
Of course, it is not just the trees. Their smoke is expected to cause...
I had to set up sprinkler. Hey, round of applause for the people who put that in. You can barely hear that. Oh, what the Oh, the news. Let me turn that up a little more then.
Major problems for the surrounding area. Hundreds of people staying at a nearby campground.
Our planet is
told to
boiling.
evacuate
It really
for
does
their
feel like our
safety.
planet's boiling.
You know, Greg Fields, you look at the kind of damage from those wildfires there and you realize, look, when things get really dry, as we've seen here in North Texas, it's no joke. You've got to be especially careful.
Yeah, and they are dealing with those drought conditions like we are here across.
It's the sprinkler
Watering
system.
that tree in case the does.
Throw in some water lines. You have to pump water all the way there. Yeah, that's a little bit better. That's good. That's good. Thank you, Justin. Yeah, let's see, man. Let me double check.
Drop down and the tree's going to be okay.
Now, of course, it is not just the trees. Their smoke is expected to cause major problems for the surrounding area. Hundreds of people staying at a nearby campground told to evacuate for their safety. You know, Greg Fields, you look at the kind of damage.
Shout out Sierra in the chat. Sierra, like my sister, we've been on the West Coast together, and there were wildfires when we were out there when she took me and baby mama out there. And let me tell you, when that air quality drops, you can really tell. You can really tell. Like,
damage from those wildfires there, and you realize, look, when things get really dry, as we've seen here in North Texas, it's no
respiratory
joke.
infections,
You've got
all
to be
that.
especially careful.
Yeah, and they are dealing with those drought conditions like we are here across North Texas, a large part of the country. In fact, the western third of the U.S. dealing with severe to extreme drought conditions. Let's show you a look at the map there, and you can see out across the interior sections of California where we just talked about the wildfire that's going in Yosemite there. You can see the extreme to exceptional drought conditions in those areas, portions of Nevada into California there. The desert Southwest quite dry as well, and that does stretch back, of course.
it is pretty droughted down here. You know, I'm in southern Arizona, and it is pretty dry. It's pretty hot too. It was 106 yesterday. I managed to catch a workout. I'm gonna catch a workout today after the stream, and I'm not gonna go 7 miles like I did though. I'm gonna do like probably 3-4. Just because of the heat. I'm trying not to die. It is hot.
Of course, for us here across Texas and some spotty areas around the rest of the nation with the moderate to severe drought across portions of the southeast over toward Atlanta up through the Carolinas as well. So yes, a large part of the country dry, in desperate need of some rain, and it is hot as well.
It's just gonna stay hot. All right, let's maybe ABC News has some better mixed audio.
In Yosemite National Park in California,
There we go.
A wildfire is burning out of control and threatening one of the nation's natural wonders, the park's grove of giant sequoia trees. Firefighters are using all means available to them to protect the ancient trees. Planes are dropping fire retardant. The area around the Mariposa Grove is now closed. All visitors there have been told to evacuate. Hundreds of firefighters on the ground are digging lines and clearing dead brush. The extreme drought is only fueling the fire. Crews are setting up sprinklers to protect the 3,000-year-old grizzly giant. That tree, the second tallest in the park, reaches well over 200 feet. The fire currently spans nearly 1,600 acres with hot and dry conditions expected to persist. ABC's Will Carr leads us off tonight.
Tonight, the urgent battle to save the iconic giant sequoias in Yosemite National Park from the airplanes dropping water and that bright red fire retardant. The intense flames and heat sending debris hundreds of feet into the air, reportedly causing...
That's crazy. It's crazy seeing that fire retardant drop out of those planes. That almost looks like, I don't know, chemical warfare. We're really going to war with this wildfire, and we stay at war with the wildfires on the West Coast. This is bad.
One plane.
A branch went right over the top of us, pretty good size. So if we keep seeing that, we might have to knock it off. I don't want to take a chance of busting a window in an airplane or hurting an aircraft.
On the ground, firefighters digging lines and clearing dead brush.
Terry made a really good point in the text chat. I don't know if you guys saw that. It's only going to get worse. Supreme Court ruled the EPA cannot limit emissions on factories. Yeah, the EPA, we're trying to get back into, we're in this post-COVID era of overproduction. We have to compensate for our all of our time off, right? So you're seeing even in litigation, they're or even in lawmaking and governance, they're saying, nope, fine, burn coal again. We're not going to limit emissions. Just get back to work. Yeah, that's going to bite us in the butt in the long run.
The active flames of the Washburn fire captured in this aerial video. The fire scorching nearly 1,600 acres in 3 days. It's 0% contained. 360 firefighters working on the front line.
Looks pretty scary, and we're going full force on our suppression tactics.
Smoke from the fire expected to cause major problems for the surrounding area. In the middle of a busy tourist season, up to 700 people staying nearby given evacuation orders, but some choosing to stay in the area and wait it out.
Plan on staying here at the park for a few days, but I guess we'll see.
Park officials say the fire
No, get out of
sparked
there.
Thursday, fueled by extreme drought.
You won't be able to breathe if you stay. I don't know. I mean, again, the smoke. I'm telling you guys, like, if you can see smoke from where you're at, you're not going to be able to breathe pretty soon, pretty quick, depending on how the wind is blowing. And
kind of heartbreaking. You feel afraid for the people in the town of Wawona, and then just heartbroken about the trees.
Fire crews desperately trying to protect Mariposa Grove, the largest area of ancient sequoias in Yosemite. This sprinkler system increasing humidity in the area around the 209-foot-tall grizzly giant, the second largest tree in Yosemite.
Lots of concern about those trees. Will Carr joins us now. And Will, we know that the extreme heat and drought are fueling the flames. What are you learning about the conditions heading into the work week?
That's right, Lindsay. While crews are racing to save those sequoias, it's going to be hot and dry across this region this week. We are still in the middle of a mega drought, and veteran firefighters tell me it's going to be a long fire season. Lindsay.
Will, thank you so much.
hi. Oh, and there he is. There's our man. There's George Stephanopoulos. Uh-oh. There he is. No. Guys, if you smoke cigarettes, don't ash them onto the ground. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a bad plan, and it could cause a wildfire. Okay, now, we've got Biden in the news. Apparently, he's going to Saudi Arabia, which, guys, the ladies in Saudi are like, what was it, 2 years ago, were just allowed to start driving. So let's just see.
President Biden gearing up for his trip to the Middle East this week. Under fire as some critics say he's being soft on Saudi Arabia and its human rights abuses. Today, pushing back in an op-ed in the Washington Post, the same publication Jamal Khashoggi was working for when he was assassinated, an effort coordinated by Saudi leadership. Defending his decision for the visit, the president wrote, "My views on human rights are clear and long-standing, and fundamental freedoms are always on the agenda when I travel abroad." As a candidate, he made this promise.
We were going to, in fact, make them pay the price and make them, in fact, the pariah that they are.
But now stressing that working with Saudi Arabia would counter Russia's aggression and help the U.S. outcompete China. The controversial visit coming as the president faces low approval ratings and high gas prices. Those prices have come down 34 cents since their high in June, but the national average is still $1.50 above last year, raising the stakes for this meeting with one of the world's biggest oil producers.
Can do as president is pick up the phone, call Saudi Arabia and OPEC Plus and ask for more supply. So it will be discussed.
Biden has already said he plans to push OPEC, which Saudi Arabia chairs, to produce more.
I indicated to them that I thought they should be increasing oil production generically, not to the Saudis particularly.
Will this trip to Saudi Arabia do anything to lower gas prices in the U.S.?
The reality is that Saudi Arabia has very limited spare capacity. They have to manage it carefully. We shouldn't expect a dramatic production increase. Certainly nothing on the order that's going to bring down gasoline prices in the U.S.
And Maura is with the president in Delaware right now. Saudi Arabia is not his only stop on this trip, right, Maura?
The president will visit Israel first, with a stop in the West Bank to meet with Palestinian leaders as well. Kate?
Interesting. So he's really going to be trying to secure that Middle Eastern oil. Guys, we're in the midst of it. It's happening. What I've been saying is happening. We're entering that sweet, sweet Dune Arrakis resource war. It's all about who's got the oil, who's burning oil, who's going to keep us afloat. We have another Biden story. Let's hop right into it.
I want to talk about an executive order I'm signing to protect reproductive rights of women.
Because again, in my opinion, this trip to Saud is a little tone deaf. When you're in the middle of a fight for the reproductive rights and the body autonomy of the women of your nation. You do really want to worry about who you're making allies with when more than half of your country isn't governed in a way that they agree with.
In the aftermath of the Supreme Court's terrible, extreme, and I think so totally wrong-headed decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. In both formalized actions I announced right after the decision, as well as adding new measures today. Let's be clear about something from the very start. This was not a decision driven by the Constitution. Let me say it again. This was not a decision driven by the Constitution. And despite what those justices in the majority said, this was not a decision driven by history. You've all probably had a chance
to read the
decisions and the dissent. The majority rattles off laws from the 19th century to support the idea that Roe was a historic anomaly because states outlawed abortion in the 1880s toward the end. But that's just wrong. The truth is, today's Supreme Court majority that is playing fast and loose with the facts. Even 150 years ago, the common law and many state laws did not criminalize abortion early in pregnancy, which is very similar to the viability line drawn by Roe. But the Dobbs majority ignores that fact. And the Dobbs majority ignores that many laws are enacted to protect women at the time when they were dying from unsafe abortions. This is the horrific reality that Roe sought to end.
I didn't mean to be deafened in Discord.
The practice of medicine should not be frozen in the 19th century.
Yeah, we shouldn't be stuck in the 19th century. You had an oddly fantastic as well as awful weekend. Oh no, Arianthe, what happened? What happened to your weekend? The Netherlands is sliding into dictatorship? Let's check this out. What do they mean? Sliding into dictatorship. Never been like that in the Netherlands. Uh-oh. Yo, shout out Rins. I hope all of our Europeans are okay. Our Europeans are all right. Let's check out this story. What?
Somewhere else that seems to be sliding into dictatorship is...
Now, warning though, this is from this is from Sky News Australia. So, Australia's Fox News.
Holland, which may not entirely be a coincidence. The similarities between Canada and Holland are as startling as they are disturbing.
Agreed, Terry.
Here's Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte, leader of the laughably and ironically named People's Party for Freedom and Democracy. Apart from obviously sharing the same wacky lefty sense of humour, those two both are, of course, golden pin-up boys for Klaus Schwab and the globalist fantasists of the World Economic Forum.
Oh, he said the word. He said globalists. Oh, he's a conspiracy theorist. Uh-oh. Watch out. He's worried about that liberal Illuminati agenda. He's worried about the globalists. Guys, what are we going to do with this global government? What will we do with the United Federation of Planets? Whoa, oh, God forbid we get there. God forbid we all get in a room and agree. Wouldn't that be horrible? Wouldn't it be horrible if just everybody that meant something agreed? Anyway, so, press subscribe, hit that notification bell, join the Merc TV Illuminati. We're the real Illuminati, guys.
Only a few months ago, it was the Canadian government that attacked its own citizens in the most grotesque and terrifyingly authoritarian manner during the so-called truckers' convoy revolts, when the government actually froze the bank accounts and basically starved out any individuals involved in what was legitimate, peaceful, democratic opposition to COVID mandates. That ended badly for Trudeau, particularly after this shameful incident in which Canadian mounted police trampled over a peaceful woman protester.
Come on through. What is happening here? Wow, what is this lady doing? Trampling horses.
Whoa! Whoa! You can't just... That's horrible. You can't just run over people with horses. Yo, Canadian Mounted Police. That was wrong and you know it. You just trample people.
Hang on. I've seen something like that before, haven't I? Reminds me of some... Oh, yes. Melbourne, under Dan Andrews.
Whoa. Whoa.
But I digress. Let's go back to Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte at the World Economic Forum in Davos last year, boasting about Holland's involvement with the World Economic Forum's Global Food Innovation Hubs, which is busily, quote, transforming food systems and land use.
I'd like to highlight a World Economic Forum initiative in this regard, the World Economic Forum Food Innovation Hubs. And these hubs in Africa, in Asia, in South America, and in Europe.
That accent sounds like Rin's accent because they're from the Netherlands.
Will allow businesses to connect regional stakeholders to skill innovations, because this is key. Skill innovations that can address food systems challenges. And here, I'm particularly proud to announce that the Netherlands will host the global coordinating secretariat of the World Economic Forum Food Innovation Hubs.
The hubs are set out to transform food systems and land use, eh? Wonder what that means exactly. Well, your guess is as good as mine, but as I mentioned last night, currently the Dutch government is embarked upon insane efforts to slash greenhouse gases and reduce the amount of nitrogen ammonia in the soil by 30 to 70% by 2030, or even by up to 95% in some places, in order to meet green EU climate change targets that Holland has signed up to. And this means literally turfing people off their farms. I guess that's one way to transform land use and food systems, eh, Rutte? Well, the Netherlands House of Representatives has released a...
Are we talking about a... Whoa, is it going to be a whole caravan of tractors? Tractor caravan! Oh, hello. Who is that?
Hello, it's me.
What up, Arianthe? How you doing today?
I'm doing.
You're doing... How was the weekend? It was good and awful. I know Justin came over to visit.
Justin was here under the guise of like, hey, you're having a rough week, Justin. I'm gonna come get you and I'm gonna rescue you. But I needed him far more than he ever needed me.
No. Well, that's friendship.
Yeah.
That's friendship. But that was probably the good stuff. What's the horrible stuff? Everything okay?
Oh boy. Okay, so let's start. Where should I start, Justin? Should I start from Saturday?
Ooh.
I'll start from Saturday. So I just bought a new car.
Yes.
Okay, bought a new car, signed the paperwork, all is fine. Did that on June 27th.
Oh, okay.
July 9th, Saturday morning, I got a call from the dealership that was like, hey, loan didn't go through. You need to bring the car back.
What?
And I was like, bro, I've had this car for 2 weeks. What are you talking about?
Yeah, not happening.
Yeah. And so he said, well, you have to bring the car back or we call the police and, you've now stolen the car because it's not rightfully yours.
What?
Okay. So
What?
I dragged poor Justin an hour away from my house to go with me to return this fucking car. And he was like, "Well, it was a spot delivery agreement, and that's totally legal in the state of Oklahoma." And I was like, "What? I don't even know what that means." And he said, basically, we think you can get the loan, and so we go ahead and let you take the car home. And then if it falls through, which it rarely does, but in your case it did, um, we'll call you and let you know, and you trade the vehicle
That's
back.
some old nonsense. That sucks. That's ridiculous.
So it's called, in my opinion, I feel like
That's crazy.
for legal purposes that it was a scam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, okay, so I looked up spot deliveries, right? And the first thing that popped up was spot delivery scam, and this website told you how it worked. And it's a government website. It's an Oklahoma government website. It's going to tell me all the scams, things that I need to know.
Yeah.
So, what happened when he called? Hold on.
Oh, you're good.
I went back to Arkansas, and so now I can't breathe through my nose.
Oh no.
But what he did whenever he called was, "Oh, hey, you can keep the RAV if you put $5,000 more down on top of the $2,500 you already put down."
What? No. That's
And I was
crazy.
like, "Yeah," I was like, "There's absolutely no way I can do that." And he goes, "Well, you have to bring the car back, so we'll talk about it when you get here." Okay?
That's wow. Wow.
That is like step 2 of this scam that is outlined on the website.
Yeah, and then you
Is
get there and they try
they
to
know
upsell you.
Yeah, they know that you can't get the loan. I mean, this guy works in finance. He was bragging to us about how long he had been there.
Yeah.
He knew what credit scores he was looking at. He knew
Yeah.
the companies that he was working with. He knew, in my opinion, for legal purposes, that, from the beginning that he was not going to give us his loan.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it sounds like that's probably he probably knew it wouldn't go through, but it was enough to get you out the door and get you back and maybe get more cash out of your pocket. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, this
That's what I think too. And that's how the scam works is they let you go without ever letting you know that you have a spot delivery agreement because you never signed it. And per Oklahoma state law, you have to have that agreement signed in order for it to be valid. Well, I never signed
Oh,
that. And
gotcha.
even if they did, scoot through it really fast while signing in office, a copy of that has to go to me, and it's not in my paperwork.
Oh,
They also have 10 days from the time that you leave the lot to give you a notice in writing that the loan didn't go through, and I never got that.
really? Okay, yeah.
So, yeah,
They're
so
screwing up.
so I get there, I'm mad because I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. Never heard of this before. It's illegal in Arkansas. That's probably why. And
That's
so,
100% why. You can't.
yeah.
It's illegal most places.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I get there, I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. And he's like, well, we couldn't secure the loan for that much because it's a lot of money. And I understand that. And I'm a millennial, so like I don't have great credit score. I was also told to go to college. I did that. I have student loans. Like it's a
Oh,
thing.
yeah. That ended
And
up messing me
so,
up this year, and it wasn't even my student
yeah,
loans. It was the lady who
right,
divorced me's student loans ended up biting
right.
me in the butt. Yeah. No, that's some. Ugh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, so what do I do from here? Because they had initially told me that my truck that I had traded in was for sale and pending sale. Okay.
What?
Now, under this agreement, they can sell your fucking vehicle. Sorry,
Oh,
I
you're
said the
fine.
F word.
Oh, you're
They
fine.
can sell the vehicle that you've traded in. And so I was like, you better not sell my truck. But the thing is, in the spot loan agreement, after 20 days, they can sell your vehicle.
Okay.
Other than that, before that time, they're not allowed to make any alterations. They're not allowed to change anything, do anything. sell it, what have you.
Yeah.
Well, they did. They ripped all the stickers off the back of my truck and they damaged the paint. So I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" So he tells me, "Well, if you're not happy with the truck and we can't get you into the RAV, then how about this? I get you into something different that's a little bit cheaper because that'll put you in the right range, but I'm going to have to rework your contract. And that really good interest rate you thought you were going to get, it's going to go way up."
What?
That's another part of the scam.
Okay, that makes sense.
According
I see
to
now.
a spot delivery scam, they make you a deal that you can't pass up.
Yeah.
And so you take it when they know full well that they can't give you that loan.
They slowly put you into more and more desperation to just keep the car you've already left with.
Yes.
Just because
Yeah.
you're already in it, and it's the most. Yeah, what they're doing is
Yeah.
they're preying on like the convenience that humans
Right.
desire.
The hope for them is that because you're still under the spot loan agreement, you're still responsible for the payments on the car that you've traded in until the loan is secured.
Yes. Yes.
So what they did is they kept the car for 2 weeks. Okay,
What?
13 days. So that means because I went through Carmart, bad credit. That I had 2 payments due, one on the 1st, one on the 8th, but the payment on the 1st is 10 days late. What happens at 10 days late? Anybody who's ever worked with Carmart, it gets repossessed.
What?
So they're telling me in office, well, if that's the case and it's going to get repossessed, then you need to get a new car anyway. And here we are.
Oh, wow.
And I was like,
Wow.
y'all are the worst. Give me my car. I'm calling Carmart. I'm going to get this taken care of. Luckily,
Yeah.
Carmart is a very, very good company. And they were like, don't worry about it, but you need to get a lawyer, girl.
Carmart really is a good company. They really
Yeah.
they really will come in clutch, and I've seen them help out a few different. Like, there's been times where, I used to work at a car lot that was the only special financing operation in the state of Arkansas. And so we used to pull people from the southern part of the state, from other states, just so they could get this kind of special deal on financing. And, the only other lots that I was aware of that would take people and give people a comparable deal and actually get people into vehicles was Carmart. Which was always surprising to me because they don't necessarily have like a special financing option. They'll just really work for you. Like, that's just their
they really
policy.
will.
That's just their policy there.
I mean, shoot, I was 10 days late and 2 payments behind, and they were like, "Hey, don't worry about it. We understand that this happened. Tell me exactly what happened." And so I told them what happened. They were like, "We're going to get it figured out. Even if you have to, pay it off over the next 3 months, we'll get you figured out." Because it's $350.
Yeah.
It's $350 of late fees, and it's $10 a day for every day that you're late, And I have a payment that was due on the 1st and the 8th that's now, occurring late fees.
Hey, shout out Erica real quick. She's got to work till 8 p.m., but we love you to death. That's horrible. See, yeah, that's a scam to just keep you in the... They're trying to really drain your bank account with that car purchase. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
So then, this wasn't the end of the weekend.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's just Saturday. So yesterday, everyone's already... My little cried all the way home because he missed Justin so much.
Oh.
He was so sad, which is the worst.
Oh, he missed the
Because
captain.
while poor Justin was here, he did so bad. Which was, as we were pulling out of Justin's driveway, he was like, "But Mom, my friend." And I was like, "Your friend? You climbed into bed with him and then peed the bed."
Oh, that's adorable, though. He was comfortable.
It was like, which is funny because like my dogs don't like strangers. They will bite, especially if it's someone that's in their home. They looked at Justin like he belonged here the whole time.
No.
They were like, "Oh, hey, he's here." Kenai, who usually is the biter, just ran up behind him and laid down on the floor. And I was like, "Oh." My cat jumped in his lap, just like, "Oh, hey, you're here."
I think it has a lot to do with just their packs feeling, right? Like you and Derek and the kids, they're gonna read the love you guys feel for the captain. I'm just gonna call Justin the captain for he's
the captain from now on.
He's our executive producer, by the way, guys. He came in clutch and paid the Streamlabs subscription this month. I'm gonna get you back.
Aw.
I'm gonna get him back good too. I'm gonna try to not just send some cash his way, but maybe some merch too.
Yeah. I love Justin.
Send a
Like I'm
gift.
saying, man, I needed him far more this weekend than he ever needed me, but I definitely went to Fort. I kidnapped him under the guise of hey, you've had a rough week, let me come get you.
And he ended up bailing both of us out, being our rock.
He is tough as stone. He always comes in clutch. So
Give a salute and say,
yesterday,
"Oh, Captain, my Captain."
right. So yesterday we're leaving Justin's house. My kid's crying, and Derek gets a text message from his boss. Hey, I know we didn't warn you about it, but the company went bankrupt and you don't have a job as of Friday.
What?
Yeah, dude. It's been a rough weekend.
What?
I'm so glad I had Justin here or I would have lost it.
You don't have a job as of Friday?
Yeah, as of Friday, you don't have a job. Also, if you don't come in every day this week, you don't get your unemployment.
What?
Yeah, it was awful.
Now, wait, okay, so what does this company do?
They make flooring. And so you would think that they would have plenty to do because everybody that's building houses right now has plenty to do.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's horrific. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah, I know, right? So I was like, what the heck am I gonna do now? And so I don't know, I've just kind of been reaching out to people being like, yo, you know of a place back home where I can move to?
Yeah.
Because I have a job back home. The second I which was so weird because yesterday on the way home after he got that email, I was like, okay, well, I'm trying to figure out what to do. My old boss messaged me and he's like, can you just work for me on the weekends? I know it's a long distance, but I'll make sure that you have a place to stay. I'll feed you. And I was like, actually, Steve, I'm just gonna go home. And he was like, really? So I have a job when I get there. It's just a matter of getting there.
Sorry, this mic's been on the fritz. That kind of went out
No,
for
you're
a
okay.
second. I have to keep kind of adjusting it. It keeps, I don't know. I think the cat's been messing with it while we sleep. And so that now there's a short in the cord or the port's just broken.
Oh, that might be true too.
Yeah, but I know I woke up this morning and everything on the desk had been moved. She had obviously thrown a fit
Ooh.
on the desk trying to break everything she could because I wouldn't feed her at 6 a.m.
Well, how dare you?
This cat has been Trisha Paytas on Adderall.
Oh no.
Yeah, she has just been on one. I've been sweet and really trying to understand that the cat's missing Lux just as much as I am. But I'm starting to think maybe the next time Lux goes on vacation, maybe we should do Lux's idea of potentially boarding the cat.
Yeah.
She's just very destructive when Lux is not home.
Yeah.
She just likes to tear stuff up extra hard.
Yeah.
Last night on the stream, if you watch it, there's a moment in the stream where the cat climbs up my back, over my head, and back down the chair.
Oh gosh.
This is my newer gaming chair. This is the chair that's come. You've seen it on the channel a lot, guys. I like this chair. It cost me a little bit. And this cat seems to think it's a cat tree. She's climbed up it and really destroyed some of my stuff. So she's really just gonna, yeah, I think we might be boarding the cat next time Lux goes on a vacation.
That's
It's been a little bit nutty,
That's
but
not an awful idea.
so are you gonna go back to the, our favorite town in Arkansas? Is that your goal?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, my whole family is at home. Justin's there. You know what I mean?
Yep. That
Miss
was
them all.
until things really started taking off for me out here. I was, my plan was to come back to Arkansas. So, I was really gonna make a concern. Well, things had kind of changed at a certain point. Lux and I were really positioning and planning to move back to the Ozarks, or at least close to the Ozarks, or closer to the Ozarks, quicker than we are now. Things kind of changed. Lux moved up in a big way in her
Yeah.
career. I'm finally starting into a career that I can work guilt-free and I really enjoy.
Right.
And so I'm kind of scared to see you have it's cool that you have Steve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
I feel like every hookup I have back home, it ends up being some job that's like I'm gonna have to deal with corporate standard and all of my overtime. It might end up being overtime on a paycheck, but for the most part, my hard work is gonna put someone in a new car or in a new suit
Right.
or buy him a new house, and I want that money. That's my money. I'm done living
Yeah,
like that.
absolutely.
In Arkansas, that's really my only opportunities, or at best be a contractor for like Cox Cable or something, and then music on the side. But music on the side
Yeah.
in Arkansas is, playing
Doesn't mean anything sometimes.
it doesn't really mean
It's
anything.
hard.
Well, the whole state has a bad reputation.
Yeah.
I've talked to people who do international tours about this, where it's there's just nothing really going on there. It's very the places that are popping are now corporate popping.
Mhm.
So there's some, it's like you'll see corporate gigs for like the Walmart shareholder stuff. The AMP is starting to pop off, but it's just severely lacking in a certain amount of like there's
The AMP is starting to pop off, but I mean, it's Walmart money. So it's like, let's bring Jason Aldean in 70,000 times in the
70
next 5 years.
what country star with 2 first names can we have next? Luke Bryan, Steve James. You know what I mean? It's always 2 first names and a country act. And again, like we have a rich musical culture in the Ozarks,
Yeah.
in particular, like the
But I mean, whenever
bluegrass scene.
you have the man, Walmart, who's like, well, that's not popular. And so we're going to shove it down.
Yeah, already this cat's trying to jump onto this desk. Go on. She's already been fed.
Just shut the door.
She won't. Oh no, she would just paw at the door. She would just rattle the door
Oh, gosh.
until I opened it. That's not even a
She's
joke.
so lonely. She misses her mama.
Oh, she does bad. She's been throwing a fit for since Lux left.
Poor babe. I mean, I'm sure it sucks, but at the same time, sisters, calm down.
Oh, and it used to be that she's only like this when she's super hungry, and now it's like she could eat, be full, and then still act like there's something wrong. Like I stand up and she meows at me like, "Where's the lady? Where's the lady?" And it's like, on a trip, dude. I wish you spoke English so I could communicate this to you, but I can't. Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's rough.
Yeah, it's been a weird weekend. Thank goodness for Justin. Justin's a real MVP here.
I had what was supposed to be 1 shift turn into 4. Well, 3. I had 1 shift split into 3 shifts.
Jeez.
Yeah, I had some crazy work. I set up for that MMA event, and then, but again, like it was like the initial estimate for the setup was like 400 chairs, and then it was 600 chairs. Like the next day it changed after we had already set up like as many as we thought we could fit. So it was just this constant like large scale Tetris game with chairs. Really burned a lot of mental calories with the crew this weekend, like just on how to set things up. Yesterday was nice though. I sweat a lot and I got pretty tired and I was pretty cranky by the end of the day, but I was glad to be done with chairs.
Yeah.
We had to put all 600 of them back, basically.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, yes, but shout out to some of the security staff. I also part-time as security staff for the same company. And the director of operations asked the security staff if anybody wants some extra hours to come help with chairs, because our end of the situation really needs some help. And boy, did they come through. We had 3 people show up and help. And ooh, when it's 3-4 people doing 600, 700 chairs, it really sucks. When it's 5-6, it's not even a problem.
Yeah.
Like that's
It's like, okay, everybody grab a chair and everybody gets 100.
yeah. Well, and we'll do like an assembly line because we have to take them and store them underneath a stage.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just assembly line them down if we have 5 to 6. Just kind of scoot, break them apart, hand them down to the people. The people downstairs stack them. It's a whole.
So here's what you do. I have an idea, and I know it's not going to work, but here's my idea.
Yeah.
You go through on an empty floor and you mark where all the chairs go for a different number. And so you have 600 people coming in, and
Yep.
you just at the door, thank you for your ticket. Here's your chair. Go put it on your number.
We're actually.
And then they have that other, they have the ticket, and they have to get out, and you're like, you can't leave without a chair and a ticket stub.
Yeah, hey, the venue's had embarrassing situations before where we're still setting up chairs while the doors are opening for the event, and the people in the back rows are grabbing their chairs. You know what I mean? From staff. It's but we've got it a lot tighter now, so we can have the chairs out well before the event, or at least an hour before. But I'll tell you right now, we do have to start marking on the ground now. Because we have a whole bunch of new chairs. They're heavier, they're nicer, you can't slide them around as much, which, again, the last two of those is a negative, honestly, for the person who moves them around. But, yeah, I'm glad they're here. They're nice.
Yeah.
We run off of donations and stuff. It's a non-profit, so the people who donate to the facility came through, and we had 2 rows of these chairs that the foundation had bought, and then they sat in the donors sat in the chairs and said, you need to get more of these. And so now we have 200 more of them. Got like 300 of these fancy chairs. So it's becoming a more like complicated setup, but we're going to be replacing all of our theater chairs with new chairs. So we do have to make our own new system of setup. And we're going to take our time with it. We're going to mark on the floor. We're going to really get it perfect. And the way it works is when you mark on the floor, it's a theater, so we do a lot of GA stuff where there's no chairs. So those markings on the ground, they fade, they go away pretty quick, but we'll know where things go by the time they fade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like we're in we have a pretty solid plan. I got a good crew. I've been on a lot of different operations crews, never for entertainment, but it's not that much different.
Yeah.
It is like, I have the occasional shift that's just like one giant close. Like we're just cleaning and closing the venue, which is crazy. Like that's what I'm doing today actually at 10. So I'm going in and we're just mopping, basically. We're just cleaning everything. And I like those. I like it when there's no chairs involved. That's how my life has become, though. If I'm not moving 600 chairs, life is Gucci. What am I gonna walk 8 miles? I can walk 8 miles in the desert. Doesn't bother me. But the chairs, that bothers me. I get so antsy, cranky by the end of it. You do a lot of bending, so it's that lower back pain.
Yeah.
Oh,
I bet.
But all the hard work is paying off. I'm a production nerd, and I've found other production nerds, and I think I'm finally going to get to do some, I'm going to sit down with the executive director at some point and really kind of figure out what else I can maybe do or start learning within the foundation to further my career in entertainment.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool place with a lot of opportunity, which is strange. Oh man, I got distracted by you coming in. I was so excited. Hold up.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. No, do not apologize, because there's a tractor caravan going on in the Netherlands.
Yes, keep playing it. I'm gonna run and get my breakfast that I haven't eaten yet.
Hey, no worries. I'll hit play on this and go grab my drink as well.
Statements which said, quote, "The honest message is that not all farmers will continue in business. Those who do will have to farm differently." Wow. Just think about that.
Have to farm differently.
Every day, hard-working Dutch family farmers and others are now involved in massive and growing protests. Hardly surprising, with
they could up their audio a little bit. I don't know why it's so
blockades,
quiet.
manure being dumped on government buildings or places, and there are accusations of the Dutch secret police infiltrating the protesters. The same playbook used by Trudeau, allegedly. What a coincidence. And overnight, there are even accusations of shots being fired. This, by the way, is what happens when your national government gets penetrated by globalist activists from the World Economic Forum. Oh, does that sound like a conspiracy theory? Yes, it does. But alas, it's not me saying it. It's dear old Klaus Schwab back in 2017 fessing up to what the World Economic Forum is really up to.
Back.
I mention now names like Mrs. Merkel, even Vladimir Putin and so on. They all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. But what we are very proud of now is the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are for our actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
The United States has a leadership crisis, and it's not just because President Joe Biden is mentally and physically deteriorating badly. It's also because the United States
Not a big fan of Biden. Oh, damn. Where's my mic? Oh, it cut back off. Boom. How's that? Oh my gosh, that was embarrassing. Well, I guess I went muted for a second. Should be Gucci now. Jeez. Anyway, it's funny that like we all, when I was, yeah, audio drop. Thank you, Justin. got the captain coming in clutch. I got it minimized now, so it'll just pop back on. Again, you bump the mic now, I guess it just goes off. But this is a subject that I feel like us bleeding heart liberals and everyone else, whether you're right wing, whether you're European, we all are not very impressed by Joe Biden. Really not digging him as a president. I'm really excited to see what this next election is. Oh, cat's on a warpath.
itself is intellectually deteriorating. Example, it's toxic identity politics. It's the great cultural cancer of our times, made in America. Now, this identity politics has created Vice President Kamala Harris, someone even worse than Biden, totally unfit to take over.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I do agree with Biden, though.
She is someone who is picked not for their talent, but for two things above all: being black, being a woman. That...
I disagree with that point, too. Again, I watched Kamala Harris do her job for years and was a fan. I did watch Tulsi Gabbard destroy her in a debate, and I do very much agree with the points Tulsi Gabbard made. But that doesn't... You can't take away from the job I watched this woman do. I bought her autobiography before that Gabbard... before the Gabbard debate. And... again, was a fan of them.
Is identity politics. And now the United States must pay for this intellectual idiocy, putting appearance above performance. Now, of course, the big fact here is that Biden is clearly struggling to now do his job. The man is so foggy-brained that he couldn't even read a speech on a teleprompter last week without reading the instructions as well to repeat a line. And then he mangled even that.
It is noteworthy that the percentage of women who register to vote and cast a ballot is consistently higher than the percentage of the men who do so. End of quote. Repeat the line.
Biden's decline is so obvious that even the left-wing newspapers that campaigned for him, like the New York Times, newspapers that hid his obvious defects because they hated Trump so much, They now report on what they used to hide. The New York Times, for instance, is reporting that Biden's team has had to schedule lots of rest for the 79-year-old. It says Biden now shuffles when he walks. His staff are scared he'll trip up. They're also scared he'll trip up when he opens his mouth, so they keep him away from press conferences. They've also had to clean up his dangerous gaffes, like when he claimed that US soldiers would be going into Ukraine. Now, it's getting to the point where Biden can't do his job properly. For instance, his trip to Saudi Arabia this Tuesday was supposed to happen last month, was supposed to be tacked on to the end of his swing through Europe.
Oh, so that's more about this Saudi Arabia trip. I didn't know that was a reschedule. Yeah, man, look, if he's walking with a shuffle now. This next election honestly can't come soon enough.
But Biden aides told the New York Times that, well, that idea was scrapped because one chief reason, Biden couldn't handle the trip that long. I mean, 10 days.
Welcome
too much
back
for the old guy.
Thank you.
You missed an
And I was
audio
gonna
drop.
get you half
The
a
US
stream
isn't
with
at
a baby
war,
being
needing
asleep,
a
but
commander-in-chief who's on the job
no.
day in, day out. Now, American voters are noticing all this, of course.
Justin made a really good point, and I think a lot of us from our age range all the way down to people who are just joining the workforce, so all the way into this new freshman workforce, right? We feel the same way, which is if someone is too old to work in retail, they're too old for politics.
Absolutely.
We don't want you running our nation. That has become this has become a both sides of the aisle agreed upon thing this next election, I feel like, which is if you are too old, you're not going to get the votes.
Yeah.
You're not.
Well, you just don't represent anybody.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
you are out of touch. We don't trust your body to hold up. We are a nation healing from a pandemic that took out most of that demographic. You know, it took out a lot of that demographic. It made those people retire. It forced a lot of early retirement. All of our truck drivers and different things that like they work part-time or they only work when people take vacations, those people retired. All of our emergency services people or our like cops that kind of like are, all of that's gone. All the spots for the elderly were shuffled off during COVID and put back at home. So there's just there's no place for it anymore. We need to be a compassionate nation that really focuses on letting these people retire in a comfortable way. If you've made it to that age, I don't care what your life was. You at least deserve a comped apartment. Fine. You know, like you're not good for the military. So, I mean, you know, if we're going to socialize things like the care of the elderly or health care. Like, you know,
That would be great.
Yeah, as long as my kid doesn't have to join the military to live here, then I'm happy. I'm fine. You know, there's a level of socialism I hate, but it really comes with conscription, and I'm not doing that. You're not going to force. I want to be able to tell my children they can be whatever they want to be, but it would be nice to also be in a country where you don't have to really fight and carve out your own space for when you're old and need to be taken care of. Some people reach that age and unfortunately don't have anyone to take care of them. And I think we should not only give old people places to live that's free, which is very I don't know, easy way to say that.
Well,
but I also think we shouldn't allow them to work or do certain things. Like you can't be working if you're 80 years old. You shouldn't be working if you're 80 years old. Let us take care of you, boo boo. Like,
let us take care of you. Not only that, but at some point, and I'm not trying to be a jerk, but at some point you just kind of become a liability and it's not your fault. You know, that's just natural. It's a natural progression of aging. But at some point in time, it's like, these people need to go home and enjoy the time that they have left with their family. This man is 88 years old. Get him off the door at Walmart. You know?
Get him off the door at Walmart. Justin made another good point. Even Neanderthals took care of their elderly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we have to. We should be taking care of these people, not letting them work. Like, of course, old tough men that you know have seen better days are gonna say things like, "Oh, I'll work till I'm dead." Like, yeah, boo boo, but you're not gonna. You can't. We don't. You're clogging up spots for people with talent. You're there's a lot of problems. I used to work for a corporation that specifically took care of somebody who could not function. They had Parkinson's. And they just sat there gumming up a position and sucking up a bonus into stem cell treatment to keep them. And it's like, why can't we take care of this person compassionately and also free up that job for people who deserve it and need the money?
Right.
Because I don't know if I was
Not
to have
saying
that
that he's not
position.
deserving of it. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that he's not deserving of it. It's just, dude, do you think he wants to be sitting at this desk all day, every day?
No,
Or be at home
exactly.
enjoying what he can with his family?
Exactly. He needs to be comfortable, and if they need things to do, that's where they need to carve something. Find something to do. Find a hobby. Enjoy the things you used to enjoy before you worked
Well,
all of your
yeah,
life.
I mean, they set up stuff for after school programs for kids. Why can't you set up things for adults too? Adults are greatly overlooked, and there's always something for troubled youth, or there's youth programs for after this, and there's
Yes.
Casper. There's things all the time. There's a reading program in town,
Yeah.
but they cut off the age at 13, and but it's like, if you can set all of those things up, then as companies,
There it is.
set those things up for adults too.
Yes. Yes. There's no reason you can't. There's no reason you shouldn't.
Yeah.
We as a nation could
It's like
afford that.
people reach adulthood and everyone stops. I mean, not that anyone really cares about the kids anyway, but I mean, people reach adulthood and we're expected to just go on our merry way and figure it out ourselves. And there's no sense of community, and there's no sense of, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. There's no it's take care of yourself, which again I like a capitalist
Yeah.
infrastructure, but I feel like we could have a blend of both. And post COVID, I believe that even more. Like I think we could logically take care of our elderly, take care of our kids, and
Yeah.
give a universal base income so we can keep our market afloat. Like
Well, I mean,
you got to
we're
keep people
very
spending.
well capable. Right, exactly. We're very well capable of being like, hey, it takes a village when it comes to raising a kid, but at some point in time, as people who, are older get to a point, they need to be taken care of as well. And that's not just older people, that's anybody who ends up needing to being taken care of. Why do we not have that same mentality after they're adults?
Yeah, it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. Like
And like you said, 88-year-old Hank at Walmart should not be at the door. He should be at home
yeah.
because he's retired. He's getting his this, he's getting his that. His things are paid for, which is fantastic. For the most part, his things are paid for, which is fantastic. But that means that 14-hour, that $14 an hour job is now taken by someone who doesn't need the money but wants the money because he's bored.
Yes, and it's ridiculous.
And
That's
I'm
ridiculous.
like, what about everybody that's putting money into
Mhm.
the market? It's not that, and I read something not too long ago that was like, millennials are ruining the house market because you're waiting until 35 to get married. No, we can't afford it.
We can't afford it. Look,
can't afford
yeah, when again all of the well-paying job, I shouldn't be the age I am, and every job I have worked, there's been someone over retirement age above
Yep.
me.
Yeah.
And, I've been in multiple situations where it's like, when they go, that's your spot. And it's like, this is insane. This is an
What do you
insane
mean
situation.
when they
They're
go?
over me. Yeah, what do you mean when they die?
Yeah.
You want me to hang around working almost minimum wage until someone dies?
Mm-hmm.
Like that is insane. There has to be something we can do about this.
Yeah.
It's the older generation too that seems to stress things to us youth, and they don't word it right. I've had one elderly boss explain it to me in a way that was compassionate. And he sat me down, he put a 401k in front of me, and he said, you're going to pay into your 401k starting now, and you're going to retire. When you're my age, you're not going to be working like I have to work. He's like, you're not going to be clogging up jobs for young people who need the money more.
That'd be fantastic, guy.
He understood the position he was in. He knew that he was
Yeah.
there because he messed up through his life.
He understood the assignment.
he didn't put it on the newer generations. He wasn't scorned. He was like, I did this to myself and I apologize to everyone around me. And hearing that from an older person made me really respect you know uh, made me really respect that person, because it's, you know, you need
Sure.
to, I've had most of the elderly people I've worked for, they are the most arrogant. I used to be
Yes.
able to do this and I know best and remember back in the day. And it's like, no, you messed up your life and that's why you're still here telling me that.
Mm-hmm.
How about you let people who aren't complete screw ups try? You know, like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. See, we got Terry in the chat. I'm going, but before I
Oh,
go, I have to
Terry,
tell
I love that.
you. Oh yeah. Yeah, I like that. Your Nana
You got
already
a good
marched
one
for that,
there.
right? That's a really good one. Yeah.
A good grandbaby. Good job, Nana.
Yeah, we're going back to the 19th century for some reason
I don't
with
understand.
with our governance. We're burning coal and taking away rights. I don't understand. All I can think is, again, like resource issues. You know, we have to produce more than we did, and because we dipped down a lot through COVID.
Yeah.
But we don't need kids that bad that we're forcing 10-year-olds and
No.
people who might die giving birth. Like, this is just, it's insane when the obvious compassionate thing to do feels so, it feels like you can't, like you're speaking a different language to your government, you know?
Okay, so idea.
Yes.
You know how you put like organ donor on your driver's license?
Yes.
I think you should also identify where you stand on that situation so we can take all of the 400 plus thousand kids in foster care and take them to a home of a pro-lifer, considering that's where they should be, you know?
That's who wants the children around. I mean, look, this shouldn't be where we're at. We should be seeing states
Mhm.
really, really, really pushing and funding not just gay marriage, but allowing those couples to adopt quickly, expedite the
Mhm.
process, let those couples get a kid within 9 months, like any
Yeah.
other couple. That's where we should be.
Mhm.
That's the compassionate place to put the children in a home where people who cannot procreate naturally but want to raise a child can raise a child. Like,
So,
it's just insane to me. The compassionate, logical route and strategy is right there, right here in front of us.
yeah.
And our government just refuses to. Puts up a maze built out of old religious texts to keep us from
Yeah.
the end goal of compassion.
Mhm. Well, once we become compassionate for each other, we're then harder to divide.
Yeah.
And if we don't stay divided, there's no way to conquer.
Well, and you know, I genuinely think that there will never be, you know, there's things that would have to sweep the board and seem dictatorial or seem authoritative. There would be changes
Mhm.
that would have to be made that a certain amount of Americans would not like and would protest. And that's in my opinion, that's the scary part of the change we need to make to be more compassionate, is we really do genuinely have a large voter base out there that could give a damn about the person next to them.
Yeah.
They really don't care. They
No,
really
not
don't
at
care.
all.
They care about their weird little tribe, and that's it.
Mhm.
Uh, they think that people shouldn't be allowed to move into the country, and it's just
The
ridiculous.
economy.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah, they have no actual. Uh, I find that most people of that demographic too have not been properly educated on how governance actually works. You know, these misinformed people.
Yeah, and I've never seen a crowd of people who have ancestors that moved to a new country ride so hard for people not moving to a new country.
It's so strange. It's so strange. How could you be of the Anglosphere and just think that North America has always been part of the Anglosphere? Because it had nothing to do with, I mean, you know, we colonized and took over, and
Yeah,
it's just
big time.
ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
along with
back to Biden physically deteriorating. Again, this has been an interesting kind of think piece. I don't necessarily agree with this old Trumpian windbag on Sky News, but I do.
Well, it's Sky News. I tend to,
Yeah.
take it like a Tucker Carlson and just kind of go, okay, bud, and move on.
Yeah, it's like, all right, friend. But it's these are one of those topics where I don't mind dipping into something like Sky News because they might say what both sides are thinking, because even the left is pretty over Biden. We're all done. Like we're vote for anybody but that old dude. We're done with old people in general.
I've said it before and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, but people didn't vote for Biden because they wanted Biden. They just voted against Trump.
Yes. Yes.
Because he was very quickly putting us into not only a recession, but a world war.
Yeah. They made damn sure this last election that we had nobody guilt-free to vote for.
Yeah.
That was a shame. That was a shame. Let's hear this windbag go off. Let's see if he talks about Biden's bones and his joints. Let's see how deep he gets. See if he talks about his hearing.
Biden's weak handling of the inflation explosion, the soaring petrol prices, all made worse, by the way, by his global warming policies against oil projects. And so, well, you can see it in the polls. The Rasmussen reports presidential tracking poll this week had Biden's approval rate sinking to a fresh low, much worse than Donald Trump's in his first year and a half in the job. And there's a point in that. Biden's not even halfway through his 4-year term.
Yeah.
And at this rate of decline, it's fair to ask,
it's bad
can he
too.
Actually go the full distance?
Bad, yeah.
I mean, forget about all this talk, him running for a second term. I mean, that's obvious fantasy. The real question is whether he can finish this first term. And that puts the spotlight right on Kamala Harris and this idiotic identity politics that made her.
I don't think this has anything to do with Kamala.
Made her the person who, under the Constitution, takes over as the president.
I was going to vote for her
going
to be president at one point.
And that is America's real leadership nightmare. Now,
but I genuinely listened to debates. So again, I jumped off the Kamala Harris boat. When Tulsi Gabbard I jumped right onto the Tulsi Gabbard boat, and I was really kind of hoping that maybe.
And Tulsi wrecked her.
And then Tulsi really did wreck Kamala Harris at that. Like there was no presidential hopefulness after that. And but again, I pay attention to the game as it's played. I like to be in the room where it happens when it happens. So I saw that happen. I didn't know about Kamala's history with the marijuana offenses and arrests in particular. So I was pretty appalled, being who I am. I was like, no, I can't vote for that person. And, I at one point was excited because I thought I had the opportunity to not vote for a war criminal for the first time in my voting life. Because I've only had war criminals or Donald Trump to vote for. Obama, excuse me. Obama was not a war criminal yet. He had not been a president before. He had not been a Secretary of State. But as a liberal, I wasn't going to vote for Hillary Clinton. I grew up under Clinton education reform, and I think a lot of people who, Arkansans in particular, did not trust that woman.
No.
We just didn't. So that just wasn't going to happen. I feel like Trump wouldn't have happened if they would have chosen anybody but Clinton in that first run. Them choosing Hillary is why Trump got in. Like, she should not have been the Democratic nominee.
He did lose the popular vote, so there's that.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we hold that on anybody but this dude, though. I feel like there was still an element of that happening during that election. He had that little bit of a Broad City push. Hillary showed up on Broad City and a few other shows. It's like, okay, I see you trying, but I don't trust you, lady. You're a war criminal. I don't trust war criminals, period. Unless I'm related to them. Unless I'm related to them. And that's not a criminal, that's a profiteer. That's different.
That's fair.
That's completely different.
When it comes to choosing Kamala Harris, look, it's true that every presidential candidate, when they're choosing their running mate, their vice president, they have politics on their mind.
What is this
For
man's
instance,
name?
if they're strong in the north.
Ooh. Let's find out real quick. What is this? Andrew Bolt. Andrew Bolt.
I just find it really funny that he's like popping off about how old Biden is, and so I wanna know how old he is.
Oh, these comments are great, and I bet they're also from boomers because most of the. Well, let's see here. Let's find a younger thumbnail here. This is a country-looking dude in like a vest. In all fairness, Kamala didn't have 7% popularity vote in her home state of California, so even her own state didn't want her in the leadership role. Lol. Not after the Tulsi Gabbard debate.
No.
that dude has the most like meathead name, tactical teacher.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, say you are the epitome of mansplaining without saying it.
Right.
Tactical teacher. Like, we're good, bro. You're like one of those dudes that show up and, you know.
This man is only 62. What?
Wouldn't you feel like a tool for voting Joe in? Ha 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 ha. This is just another, we have like a Latin person just going through here, just like all caps, laugh emoticon. I wrote about a few of Joe Biden's team members and YouTube won't let me post it. It automatically deletes it. Apparently people are trying to grill the admin, like specific people in his admin in the comments of this video. And it's not YouTube's algorithms or anything. That's Sky News. It's because you typed a naughty word.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when who was it? Whoever was it, Jason Derulo that played Rum Tum Tugger in Cats?
I think so.
Yeah, he's like my my manhood was too large and they had to shop it out of the final product of Cats. And it's like, no, it's not that your genitalia was too large, it's that it was genitalia. It's not that there's an Illuminati trying to block your comments, bro. It's that you used foul language on an edited comment section.
Right.
Oh, jeez. It's just sorry. I've dealt with it too on this channel where it's like I added the filters and stuff, so you know we don't get our ads taken away from new people popping in being weird. And you just get people so irate. You'll get like the occasional block comment. It's like, why won't this comment post? I hate you. And it's like,
yeah.
Because you can't speak like an adult. You can't word anything like an adult. You know, you can't get 3 words without typing a curse word. Sorry.
Not only that, but it's just something dumb and like somebody will come in and I've watched it and they'll go through this series and it's like the decline of man in a 5-part series.
In a 5-part, yeah.
And like they'll come in and they'll be like, here's this conspiracy theory, and it won't post. And they're like, why did you block my comment? You're blah 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 blah. You know, it's just
stop ignoring me. Freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Dude, you are on Merc TV. We are the Illuminati. You don't have freedom of speech here. This isn't. No, that's not what this is.
That's not how this works.
That's not how this works. This is our channel, not yours.
You want that? You want that? Go to your channel and do it.
Go make your own. That's just hilarious to me. Yeah, no, it's funny to watch every time too. Like when I first did it too, it was like people just started grilling like, oh, what? How come they can comment and I can't? Bleep blop a bleep blop. It's like because of all the bleep blops, dude. You can't keep cursing and saying crazy stuff that nobody like. Again, it's like it's only ran off the people I don't like.
Yeah, right. It almost makes me sad though because like I know that the people in our chat, looking at you, Graf, Erica, Debbie, Justin, I know they would laugh if they saw it, but if we only see it on our side, and it's like. It's so funny.
Oh, so funny. And I don't know, another thing too is like it's been I call it the intelligence filter now.
Uh-huh.
Because I don't, I want to hear from you if you I don't want to hear your last brain cell rattling around that skull. I'm good. Take that somewhere else. Take that somewhere else. Have something to say or don't.
It's just,
yeah, Debbie. Yeah, and we're all foul-mouthed people,
right?
but we can also put a paragraph together that says our feelings still
Yeah.
without it. And again, for me, it's an intelligence filter. I don't want you around if you can't.
Well, I mean, if you can't have a constructive conversation or add to a conversation, then why are you here?
Why are you
know?
around? Yeah, what is your
I'm
goal?
happy. Yeah, I'm happy to just sit and talk and you sit and listen, but that's not what happens.
No, like yeah. So strange. But yeah, so Andrew Bolt is this dude's name, and his comment section is hilarious. Funnier than ours. Because the things that do get through, it's clear that he has profanity filters on the comments. And people are like, it won't let me post it because I'm saying spicy deep state names. It's like, no, it's because you said the F word 3 times and probably said you should do something to those people. You know, like, it's probably because of the implications of the message. You dolt.
To the country, they want a running mate who's strong in the south. If they're of the right of the party, they wouldn't mind someone more on the left, consolation prize to sort of keep everyone happy, and so on. But in almost every case, the presidential candidates have at least chosen a running mate who could take over as president at a time like this. Most picked serious people to be vice president. John F. Kennedy. He thankfully chose the very wily Lyndon B. Johnson, who made a very fine president when Kennedy was assassinated. Ronald Reagan had George Bush Sr., a former CIA director, who later became president himself. George Bush Jr., he had Dick Cheney, a vastly experienced politician who was a huge influence in the Bush administration. And Barack Obama, well, he chose Joe Biden, back when Biden was closer to his prime. And to be fair to him, despite his shoddy judgment, he had decades of experience in the Senate. But what did Joe Biden do? He picked Kamala Harris.
Hold on. Slow down, everybody.
Wow, all right.
Kamala Harris. A former...
This dude I feel like he's using this very, spicy headline to really dig at Kamala Harris. Like, why does he keep circling? Like, what? This dude's obsessed with Kamala Harris. I thought we were talking about Joe Biden being old.
District attorney.
What is this dude's deal? Why do we keep going back to Kamala? Like, this dude's old. Like, we thought we were talking about Joe Biden sucking.
Why do you hate women so much? The title of the thing is America's Nightmare. Joe Biden mentally and physically deteriorating.
Yeah.
What does Kamala Harris have to do with his deterioration?
Why do we keep going back to him? Yeah. Oh, Debbie's at the hair salon. Ooh, yo, Debbie, all the positive vibes to your daughter. Hopefully that the boxing match goes good.
Hope she kicks some butt.
California, who'd been in the Senate for just
What up, Graf?
3 years and done nothing there to boast of. I mean, she pushed this fake Russian collusion story. That's about all. And from California, I mean, Biden was going to win that state anyway. So why did he pick Harris of all people?
Again, what does this have to do with him being old and decrepit?
And the answer
I'm really
is
confused.
this identity
It's so
politics.
strange. It's not
cancer.
What? Did he just call it identity politics cancer?
What even is?
Andrew Bolt is a weird dude, man.
All of my drink just went into my nose. I laughed so hard.
That was... Wow.
Democrat left, the media left. They said, well, this
Dude
is
is out of
male
touch.
Joe Biden. He needed to run with a black woman to balance things, to balance the various identities now that identities count for so much. The pressure was quite strong, and Biden didn't resist, of course, is weak that way, and he narrowed his choice to 4
The previous president proved that identity politics has nothing to do with choosing your VP and still winning. Like, it was two honkies last time. What is this dude's point? This dude's insane.
black
I don't
women.
understand.
And he picked the one who thought it'd be the least trouble. He also happened to pick the one who was probably
Wait a
the
minute.
least competent.
He thought Kamala Harris was going to be the least trouble after she got wrecked in a debate by Tulsi.
Yeah, that's not true. I mean,
No,
she has a
that's just a
very
bold-faced
problematic
lie.
history. Yeah, Kamala Harris has a very problematic history for the liberal voting
Yes.
base, particularly with the issue of marijuana. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there are way less problematic people.
This doesn't make any sense. His argument doesn't make any sense.
No, this dude should just stay in his country talking about Australian politics. He should just go back to grilling the queen or whatever he's up to with his.
One of my favorite things that he said so far is talking about a quote fake Russian collusion, as if he was in the room while the FBI and CIA were looking into this collusion.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I find it so very interesting when people who are not part of said organizations set to research that are like, it was fake. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. You can say that. That's fine. But were you there?
Were you
Or is
there?
that hearsay, my guy?
Yeah, how would you know? Australian national Andrew Bolt?
Right.
How would you know? Australian
national?
journalist Andrew Bolt?
Tucker Carlson wannabe? Like,
Yeah. You know,
how do you know?
how would you know? Think Piers Morgan, aim lower. Like, what would this guy know?
And the least experienced in actually running things. And the weird thing, the sad thing, is that almost no one in the mainstream media bothered to ask, could Kamala Harris actually do the most important thing you'd expect from a vice president when the chips are down? To take over as president if the worst happened.
Look, sometimes you have to get a VP that is there so that nobody takes you out. You know what I mean? Look, Obama had Biden, so Biden knows the strategy. Nobody wanted Biden as president when he was VP.
Nope.
Please, God save Obama, you know? And nobody wants Kamala Harris as president while she's VP.
Not a single.
But I don't think even God can stop old age.
No.
I don't know about God save Biden. I don't know if there's any. I mean, dudes, we're going to put robot parts in him. I just, you know.
And the answer is, almost certainly, she cannot. You just listen to her.
Why does he think she's not skilled enough to do it? Look, she could. She is
Why
absolutely.
did he just shudder?
Yeah. Because he's, I don't know if it's because he can't stand the thought of a woman being the president of America, which is insane. But she could absolutely do the job. Again, I've watched her successfully do her work in governance for a long time. And, you know, it really is unfortunate that her past is her past. But, you know, her in my lifetime as a voting adult, she asked the questions I wanted asked. You know, there were things.
Yeah.
When I saw her on C-SPAN representing and doing her thing, she really did her thing. So I don't know. I don't agree with that either. I think she could do the job. I think we just don't want it because we are honestly all okay with the marijuana that we have right now. You know? We don't want to go to jail for it.
Listening to Kamala Harris is to realize that this is someone without a single profound insight. Someone who just babbles. For instance, here she is last week, trying to explain why the US Congress never got around to codifying abortion laws before the Supreme Court tossed out Roe versus Wade.
I think that, to be very honest with you, I do believe that we should have rightly believed, but we certainly believe that certain issues are just settled. Certain issues are just settled.
Clearly we're not.
No, that's right. And that's why I do believe that we are living, sadly, in real unsettled times.
That's an obvious. That wasn't an answer.
Yeah.
That was
a non-answer answer.
Yeah, that's how politicians not answer a question.
Yep.
Yeah, it's unsettling times. Girl, yeah.
To that word salad is very typical of her. And this one also from last week when Harris went to Highland Park after a gunman shot dead 6 people at an Independence Day parade. A moment where she should be saying something quite serious, quite profound. She could only come up with this.
We'll deal with what we need to deal with in terms of also as we move forward, all agreeing that we got to be smarter as a country in terms of who has access to what, and in particular assault weapons. And we got to take this stuff seriously as you are, because you have been forced to have to take it seriously.
Harris has also failed completely at the one big job that President Biden gave her: to stop the illegal immigration over the US-Mexico border.
What? He gave her that job? I didn't know he gave her that job. What? Huh? Did you guys hear about that? When did he give her that job?
I don't remember that.
I'm confused.
Something that Harris claimed 13 months ago she'd been working on for ages, if you call this work.
I've been working on this issue for a very long time. I'm in Guatemala because my focus is dealing with the root causes of migration.
Okay, so she's dealing with the triangle countries. She's okay.
But that's not...
Uh,
She's not saying she's trying to stop immigration from Mexico. That's not what that is.
no, she's just
She's
genuinely.
just trying to line it out.
She's trying to get to
You know?
the bottom of the humanitarian issues, forcing people to flee,
Right.
which
Why
is what you
are
should
so
be
many
doing.
people wanting to run? And yeah,
Which is the right thing to be doing in this situation. Like, that's what I've been saying from the jump, was that it's a
That's how
humanitarian
you-
crisis down there. You
Yeah.
have to go. We need to get to the bottom of why these people don't want to live
Exactly.
in their nation. So let's see if
What is
she expounds
happening?
upon that. Let's see what she's actually. Maybe if she explains what she's actually doing.
yeah.
Push her and
Oh,
you
nope,
just
back
get
to Andrew
the
Bolt. Damn it.
nervous giggle.
He
and
doesn't
the
want her to
aggressive-
explain it.
He doesn't want her
further.
to explain it. I bet you. I mean, we'll have to find that interview and see if maybe
This is
she.
some Sean Hannity BS.
Yeah.
of evasions of
What in the
somebody who
Sean
clearly
Hannity?
has no idea about taking responsibility.
Carlsonian outfit.
to visit the border.
I'm here in Guatemala today. At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe.
What? Uh-oh. 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 There we go. That's
Ooh,
kind of, I
here we
think, what
go.
he was talking about. Yeah, that was... Yeah. Uh-oh.
Dang, girl, how you gonna work on anything if you're not gonna go?
Damn it, lady.
And I don't understand the point that you're making.
And 13 months on, what has Harris actually achieved in this one job that Joe Biden gave her? Answer: absolutely nothing.
But wait,
I don't
what?
think that's a fair assessment.
That's not a fair assessment. I mean, if she's gone to Guatemala, they've been to the border. She hasn't, but they've been to the border.
People
She's-
that need to go to the border to figure things out have been sent to the border to figure things out. That's
Yeah.
what she's talking about.
Yeah, I think what the
I don't like it. I think she should go. But
what bothers me is I think he's trying to make the implication is he's trying to make a compassionate point. He's opening a door for her to talk about what she's seen there and why it's so important to her. But she views it as an attack, clearly by with her response and the tone in which she responded, which has been kind of a common thing with Kamala, which is I don't think you realize how often people are passing you the ball
yeah.
in these interviews, and all you really have to do is say this is why. You know what I mean? You could just compassionate. They're just giving you the hole for compassion. Plea your case compassionately from the heart to your mouth, and all he wants to know is if you've laid eyes on the situation and how that makes your heart feel. You know what I mean? That's all we want to hear. That's all people want to hear about it.
Give me some BS. Tell me, hey,
Yeah.
I really wanted to go, but I haven't at this point been allowed myself to go. However, we have deployed the right people to do so. And that's that's what I'm basing it off of. It's reports back from them.
Yeah.
I hope to get down there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hope to be there. It's been looked at. Why does this feel like a subject? Why are you giving me kind of the angry teacher vibe? Look, it'll be handled. Why do you seem like a boss that's irked?
Yeah.
It's a strange that's the off-putting thing, not her ethnicity,
How
not
dare
her
you?
gender, not her anything else. That's what is throwing people off about Kamala, and she's been in attack mode since that Gabbard debate.
Well, that was a rough one.
She's been in attack mode since she was a very kind, compassionate lady, as I recall, until that Gabbard debate, and she's been in almost defense mode ever since. And
She wrecked her.
that's how bad she got, like that Tulsi PTSD. Somebody takes a strange angle in a question, and suddenly she's well. She puts her finger to her thumb, and she does the point, which is, again, that's corporate power move stuff.
It is, yeah.
In 1 month, we've just had nearly 250,000 illegal immigrants come over that border. Here's Texas Governor Greg Abbott on the weekend.
Again, Andrew Bolt.
Why is he bothered?
Real quick, Andrew Bolt, not your problem. A, you're not here, you're in Australia. And you don't border anybody. You live on an island. You don't even know what this is like, homie. Like, this dude's nuts. This guy's nuts.
Saying that under Biden and Harris, the illegal immigration had turned into an invasion.
Yes, it was just 2 years ago. We had the lowest number of people coming across the border and apprehensions under President Trump. And then President Biden took over and eliminated all of the policies that President Trump put in place. And it has led to this unprecedented, overwhelming number of people coming across the border. There's a record number of people coming across the border from more than 150 different countries across the entire globe. We're seeing over the 4th of July, for example.
Across the globe? Well, I mean, we do advertise the places. Please come here. I mean, it's what you're supposed to do. Yeah.
How are you gonna be like, hey, it's a buffet, and then be mad when people show up?
The cat made a really good point in the text chat. You mean like every white person who came over here? Exactly.
Yup.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. That's exactly my point. Like,
so should I start throwing a fit? Like, I'm indigenous.
Yes.
I'm from here originally. Should I start throwing a fit to throw all of you out? Like, does that make any sense?
If they're gonna act like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to act like that, you know.
Yeah. Graf Murdoch State TV. Yeah. Rupert Murdoch.
If you're not willing to compromise and live harmoniously, this ain't for you, dog.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, I mean, going back to the founding fathers that y'all like to choke to death. This ain't for you, dog.
This ain't for you, homie.
In just the Del Rio sector, which is only one of 5 sectors in the state of Texas, there were about 5,000 people either apprehended or who were gotaways.
The woman that Biden put in charge.
What?
He called them gotaways? Good. Imagine talking about people like this.
This is weird.
Imagine talking about people who are indigenous to the continent like this.
Yeah, imagine pulling that clip to make a point at the end of a story about Joe Biden being decrepit. How did we end up here?
Right. He took me on a really weird ride, and I don't like it.
Andrew Bolt is weird.
That fiasco. It's also the woman who will take over from Biden if he can't go on as president. And this is not just an embarrassment. It's not just a scandal. It is a threat.
What is?
It's not a scandal. That's how. This is how this works.
Well, in what particular what part of the 8 things you brought up in this one? What is going on? This is a clip, homie. This is in 10 minutes.
Okay.
He went 8 different directions.
Andrew Bolt is physically and mentally deteriorating.
That's
on record. That's the truth. That's what it is.
Australia's nightmare.
Australia's nightmare. Andrew
Bolt, mentally and physically deteriorating.
Because none of this made sense.
That made no sense.
He's talking about how the vice president taking over if the president can't fulfill his duties is a scandal.
Crosses, children's
Yo,
pictures.
that's how we've always done it.
Yeah. Apparently Biden's this is from 65 minutes ago. He's celebrating a
candles and colorful ribbons has been taken down. The dried
celebrating new gun legislation? What passed?
white roses and the sun-bleached teddy bears have been taken away and stored.
To mark the passage of the bipartisan gun control legislation.
As we drive through our sleepy downtown.
This legislation is real progress, but more has to be done. The provision of this new legislation is going to save lives. Okay, let's see here. So what are the actual details of this? The Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, which Biden signed into law in June, enhances background checks for gun buyers under 21, provides billions of dollars for mental health services, and gives $750 million to states to incentivize crisis intervention programs.
I mean, that's
which
cute.
quickly
It's
turns
not
to
gonna
pain and
work.
anger
Yeah.
that they sometimes
I
accidentally
like
approach
where
the
his
grounds
heart
of
is,
Robb
but
Elementary School.
the state's not gonna take that money and go, yeah, we should start a crisis identification program.
Today as a
You know,
Uvaldian, and to
it's
speak
interesting
for
that it's
parents of
between the
victims
two,
who seek the truth,
that it's
transparency,
bipartisan. You know what I mean? Like, this is really
accountability.
an interesting compromise.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're really just expanding that background check stuff. We're really incentivizing
I
mental
mean-
health care.
Don't get me wrong, I agree, but I don't think giving people, like giving states money and going, okay,
That's
you could
actually
totally start a intervention program that they're going to be like, you know what, you're right. Thanks for giving us that money to do that. No, they're going to take it and they're going to do something else. Like Benton County's going to buy new cars for their police department. I guarantee it.
I was gonna say Arkansas would probably go crazy with like who knows.
We're going to buy SWAT gear and
Yeah, armored
tanks
stuff
and
and yeah, maybe build a couple new facilities that are specifically
Yeah.
just to lock women with mental issues up in like that. The amount of that still in Arkansas
Mhm.
is weird.
Yeah.
Like that. Not a particularly compassionate state for the
No.
needs of someone's for like mental health needs.
No.
Most
There's
of the,
a lot of like, you need to suck it up, get back to work,
or
and
places
it
ran
just,
by churches
yes.
that are somehow like state or county. You know what I mean? Like you get
Yes.
sent to them like court ordered sometimes. Like here's your
Uh-huh.
therapist. It's a reverend. Like what the hell?
Yeah.
This isn't
Exactly.
mental health care. This is a new church to go to. Y'all are tripping.
Youthbridge.
Yeah, y'all are.
Youthbridge is a state-funded facility, and that is exactly how you're describing.
Yep, it's Christian. My sister was locked up there. Yeah, Ozark Guidance. I took therapy
Yep.
there. That's the only option for therapy where I was back home. They'd take my insurance, but it was like a religious organization.
And that they're safe. But how do I
Like,
say that knowing that the very
or the therapists just happened to be religious people that always brought up that angle.
Mhm.
And it's like that's not why I'm
be the
here.
start of the movement towards the banning of assault weapons. As I have said before, adults are stubborn. We're resistant to change, even when the change will make things better for ourselves, but especially when we think we're immune to the fallout. As we have seen, no community is immune to the fallout. Rather, the fallout is landing in our backyard on a weekly basis. I commend the bipartisan legislators who worked tirelessly to pass this bill. I thank President Biden and Vice President Harris for always standing with the community of Uvalde and allowing our voices to be heard. I invite everyone to move forward from this start of the change that will allow all of our children to make it to the end of our fight, which is a world where safety in schools is never doubted and weapons of war are not allowed in our communities. The Uvalde community thanks you for your love and support, and I'm honored to introduce our great champion, the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris.
Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Guerrero, for the introduction and for your courage and your compassion.
Yeah.
You have been such a source of strength to the families of Uvalde, and I know that is not without personal sacrifice. Thank you for your leadership.
Oh dang.
To our President, Joe Biden.
Yeah, Justin, I believe that. That's
members of
horrible.
Congress,
That's about how Ozark
members
Guidance
of our
goes.
administration, friends and fellow Americans. Today is indeed an historic day. For 30 years, our nation has failed to pass meaningful gun violence legislation. Again and again, the American people have called for common sense action to protect our communities. Last month, Their call was finally answered when President Joe Biden signed the bipartisan Safer Communities Act. Because of our president's leadership, and because of so many of you, we have passed a law that will make communities around our nation safer. For my whole career, addressing gun violence has been one of my top priorities, first as a courtroom prosecutor, then as district attorney of San Francisco, where we created a gun specialist unit.
Yeah, but when you were DA of San Fran, that's also when you were making mad marijuana arrests and ruining that debate for yourself.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah,
to
you
go
also
after violent offenders.
messing with guns.
Then, of course, as Attorney General, where our office worked closely with the California Bureau of Firearms to
Yeah.
investigate and seize firearms from those who unlawfully possess them. As a United States Senator, together with my former colleagues in the Senate, we supported various pieces of legislation to address this crisis. So I knew, and I know now, as so many of you do, that we are overdue in getting this work done. And I know it will save lives. Together we gather with many of the leaders who made this law a reality. To the friends and family members of the victims of gun violence, in the face of so much pain, you have shown incredible strength. And
Right,
it is
Justin?
a profound honor.
Justin brings up a really good point. I think we should really, we're actually gonna, let's end the show on this line of discussion, see where it takes us. Let me load over to the other screen real fast. Loading. All right. Now, yeah, here's my thing. Do we show... there is a lot of fascination on these shooters and a lot of strange worship of these shooters by equally unwell people out there. And we know this. We know that a lot of people who have done crimes, mass shootings in particular, they are emulating or were inspired by the acts of people in the past. A lot of people bring up the two that were involved in the Columbine shooting. The list keeps going. I mean, they're always inspiring the next one, it feels like. So Justin makes a really interesting point, but that's a hard one to police, because there's people like myself who, while I would never commit a crime like that, I am endlessly fascinated in the behavior of criminals. People who act so outside of the way I would. People who do the unfathomable. And it's not that I idolize them, or I'm just genuinely baffled, appalled, and curious as to what their life was like, what brought somebody to that position. And I think that curiosity is why mainstream news outlets really hyper focus on the criminal immediately. And it's an issue in every criminal case that any news outlet reaches. You know, it's one of the reasons when we do True Crime in Chat, we always save one episode for the victim. We always do the first episode for the victim. Like, there's a hyper fixation on the criminal. And it's because they do the unfathomable. They're doing something none of us would do. None of us would do. And I do kind of agree, though, that maybe that should be private information. When does it start violating HIPAA when you start openly talking about someone's mental illness?
I think when it's disclosed by a medical professional.
Or involved in a court case, or or you know,
Right.
like if it's major news, basically. But when do we, like Justin says, maybe make the info public knowledge online, but don't give them TV airtime? Yes, you believe a lot of
Sure,
them are
yeah.
trying to get famous. See, they're looking for this news coverage.
Uh-huh.
Justin saying that makes me think about Dennis Rader, the BTK. You know,
Yes.
BTK it's specifically part of his sentencing. He is not allowed to watch television coverage about him. because that's specifically something he got off on, was watching the news coverage on BTK.
Mhm.
You know, like we need to be strict with the sentencing on that. You know, like maybe more people need to be given the BTK treatment. Like, no, you are not allowed to get
Yes.
newspaper. Like, we cut out the parts about you in the newspaper. We don't care what's on the other side. You don't get to read it.
Right.
You don't get to read it. And that's that. As far as you are concerned, society forgot about you.
Yeah.
And that's what that's a wall I wish we could put up more with these criminals, is to have the knowledge as the public at large that
Absolutely.
they think that we've forgotten about them. Like,
Mhm.
that's genuinely, and you know, if we were to develop that kind of system in mass for these people that are doing things for attention, or they really get off on the social aspects of the atrocities they've committed, we'll probably, if we could, again, what this will do is this will devalue their self-worth. Oh, the people forgot about me. It'll cause them to start
Yeah.
talking. They'll start admitting things that maybe we didn't catch them, that we didn't catch. You know what I mean? They'll start bringing up
Yeah.
stuff that maybe wasn't brought up in what, you know, was originally brought into court. Maybe we'll get a confession that makes a little more sense. You know, if we were to treat criminals that way, play a little bit of a psychological game with these people who played a psychological game with us, the public at large, by scaring us, frightening us.
Right.
I feel like that's an absolutely fair and just thing to do to these people, like mass killers, spree killers, serial killers. As far as you know, they need to be told when they're incarcerated that society forgot about them. You did
Mhm.
nothing. You didn't scare us. You don't scare us. You didn't do nothing. You didn't do anything. It had no effect
Now
on
you just
us.
look stupid.
Yeah, you're just an idiot that everyone forgot about. You're just as worthless as you were when you were out here and faceless. And then we'll probably, you know, they'll try to compensate and try to bring up things that they've done, try to scare us
Mhm.
more. And that's, you know, something I'd like to see happen.
I would love. I hope one day I see that situation play out. I would love to be a part of it, just so I could be like, and that matters because, yeah, man, you and everyone else who thinks they're cool, like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. You know, one thing that drives me nuts about, you know, like Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy never really, like, he confessed and he told people where to find stuff, but he didn't, you know, he was definitely obsessed with what he was putting out there into the media. Like, that was his priority, was how is the world gonna look at me? And the people who kept him imprisoned let it happen. And so you
Yeah.
didn't get a genuine confession from that guy. He blamed
No,
it
of
on
course not.
pornography. He blamed it on this and that. He never, if we were, I wonder how it would have gone if we were to have just locked him away solitary and told him for a couple of months, nobody cares. There's not going to be cameras. Nobody cares about you. We're not scared of you. The media doesn't care. They've already forgotten. They've moved on. You've had your 5 minutes. It's over. Confessor sitting here. We're over it. Like, it needs to be that. It needs to be that for everybody. Like it was with Dennis Rader. But here's the thing with Dennis Rader. He confessed to every second of it. He described every second of his crimes in detail before he was even in jail. Like, they caught him and he confessed. And then when he was in court, he did it again. Like, he was almost anxious to get the details out, it felt like. Like, this dude completely, like, so we've as a nation, we've done it to the one person who it doesn't really matter if we do it to, in the scheme of getting an actual, like, honest confession. But anyway, yeah, that's how I would coerce a criminal. And that's how I think we should handle these kind of mass shooters, spree killers, things like that.
Yeah.
They assume they're being watched, and we just have to reaffirm, no, you're not.
Yep.
No one cares. You're not famous.
Yeah, no one cares.
Maybe call him the wrong name a couple times if you're if you're one of the people interrogating him.
Right.
Like, you know, if his name's
You know how many
Dylan.
times I've always wanted to watch like an interrogation with Ted Bundy and just have the investigator be like, "Okay, Tom."
Yeah. What up,
You know?
Tom? Hey, Tom Brindle. What? I'm Ted Bundy. Oh yeah, whatever. All right, moving on. You know what I mean? Like,
Like-
really treat him like nothing. Really treat
Paul
him like a
Gacy,
number.
James, you know.
Yeah.
James, Jerry, whatever.
And you have to keep them away from other inmates. They can't be general pop if they've committed a crime like this, because that's another level of fame they're going to get. They're going to know that what you're telling them is BS, because people who just got locked up are going to be like, I saw a documentary about you. You know what I mean? Like, then no. So they gotta be. There's a way we should treat these people, and it's there's a reason I feel that way. And again, it sounds mean if you were to explain it. Like if I was to just propose that, like if you've committed a spree killing or something like that, or you seem mentally deranged, we gotta isolate you and blah blah blah. Like probably sounds horrible. We gotta be mean to them, but I feel like it's the compassionate thing to do. You know, to also allow us out here who haven't done anything wrong to satiate our curiosity. Because that's you know, the education on people who behave that way is really important.
Oh yeah.
You know, but Arianthe, Captain, my captain, Justin, everybody, I love you guys. I gotta go get ready for work. The my alarm's about to go off. I'm gonna go.
Love you too.
I'm gonna go
Have a
do
good day
the
at
thing.
work.
Oh dang,
I'm
straight
glad
up.
everyone turned out. If you're still here, hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the notification bell and get yourself some coffee.
Get some coffee. Go get some Death Wish coffee. I'm excited for it to show up on Eric. I want to know how what it tastes like.
Yes.
What that blueberry
While
vanilla
you're
tastes
over
like.
there on our page at pillar.io, you can grab a bark box. That way you can enjoy that coffee with your best friend.
Oh, get your dog something cool. Oh, heck yeah. I'm gonna pop out of Discord. I'll talk to you later, Arianthe.
Have a good one.
Oh, everybody, thank you so much. You guys have a good day. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.